China's moon mission sees first seeds sprout. Seeds taken up to the moon by China's Chang'e 4 mission have sprouted, says China National Space Administration. It marks the first time any biological matter has grown on the moon, and is being seen as a significant step towards long-term space exploration. This from the BBC. Chang'e 4 touched down on the 3rd of January, carrying instruments to analyze the region's geology. Plants have been grown on the International Space Station before, but never on the moon. The ability to grow plants on the moon will be integral for long-term space missions, like a trip to Mars, which would take about 2.5 years. It would mean that astronauts could potentially harvest their own food in space, reducing the need to come back down to Earth to resupply. That's kind of a silly reason. You could always send the food up, couldn't you? Paul Rincon, the science editor for the BBC News website. The lunar mini biosphere experiment on the Chang'e 4 lander is designed to test photosynthesis and respiration processes in living organisms that result in the production of energy. The whole experiment is contained within an 18-centimeter tall, 3-kilogram canister that was designed by 28 Chinese universities. The organisms inside have a supply of air, water, and nutrients to help them grow. But one of the challenges, say Chinese scientists, is to keep the temperature favorable for growth when conditions on the moon swing wildly between minus 173 degrees centigrade, that was minus 173 centigrade, and over 100 degrees centigrade. 273 degrees swings. They also have to control the humidity and nutrients. Some have raised the question of whether the experiment risks contaminating the moon, in quotes, but scientists generally think this is of little concern. It is worth reiterating that there are already nearly 100 bags of human waste left on the moon, left behind by the Apollo astronauts. On Tuesday, Chinese state media said the cotton seeds had now grown buds. The ruling Communist Party's official mouthpiece, the People's Daily, tweeted an image of the sprouted seed, saying it marked the completion of humankind's first biological experiment on the moon. Fred Watson, Australian Astronomical Observatory's astronomer at large, told the BBC the development was good news. It suggests that there might not be insurmountable problems for astronauts in future trying to grow their own crops on the moon in a controlled environment. I think there's certainly a great deal of interest in using the moon as a staging post, particularly for flights to Mars, because it's relatively near the Earth. Close quote, Mr. Watson said. Professor Xie Zhenxing, let me try that again. Professor Xie Gengxin, the experiment's chief designer, was quoted as saying in the South China Morning Post, quote, "We have given consideration to future survival in space. Learning about these plants' growth in a low-gravity environment would allow us to lay the foundation for our future establishment of a space base." Close quote. Space 1999, didn't they have a moon base in that show? With Martin Landau? Does anyone remember that program? China's Xinhua news agency said that the seeds were rendered dormant using biological technology during the 20-day journey from Earth to the moon. They only began growing once Ground Control Center sent a command to the probe to water the seeds. Wow. So digital communication. Biological technology during the journey. And then a command to the probe to water the seeds. Biological technology could be cold soil, right? You could put the seeds in cold soil and then warm them up. I wonder how they did that. I'm going to read about this more. The seeds only began growing once Ground Control Center sent a command to the probe to water the seeds. Xinhua said the probe had taken about 170 pictures so far, which have been sent back to Earth. On Friday, the Chinese Lunar Exploration Program, CLEP, released several images taken by the probe, including panoramic images of the landing site, as well as video of the vehicles touching down. They've been really good at lunar selfies. That Jade Rabbit was amazing. It just leapt out, whipped around, took a picture of itself. That was amazing. Oh look, Google Translate can translate the Chinese page if we want. There's some lovely images here for you guys to check out of the moon, taken from Chang'e 4.